Women have been conditioned by society to be, act, and think a certain way. Here at Girls IRL, we encourage women to challenge societal norms and embrace their femininity. With that being said, let's get into this week's episode. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Girls in Real Life podcast. I am your host, Mariah Clayton. Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. How are we enjoying our 4-day weekend? I don't know how cold it is where you guys are, but if my weather app is correct, and if I can tell the future, it is currently freezing in Louisiana right now. I'm talking like in the 30s, maybe almost the 20s, which is very, very rare for Louisiana. It very rarely ever goes below like 30 degrees here. But when it does, you would think that we were literally all dying. Like, we literally shut the world down and act like we don't know how to survive in the cold, because we really don't. Whenever I was younger, we used to look forward to like the super cold days because there might have been like a chance of snow, or the snows might have iced over, and so we would like get out of school because literally no, we cannot drive in the snow or an icy road because we don't have like the equipment for that. So we would always look forward to those like school days where it would be like a snow day, or it's too cold, like the weather's gonna freeze everything out, so we would just get to stay home. Speaking of school, I know last week I told you guys that we were thinking about putting Ace in school, and we went ahead and enrolled him. So he is supposed to start on Tuesday. So tomorrow, if you guys are listening to this on a Monday. But then again, like I said, we don't know because we don't know how the roads are going to be, because it's supposed to rain on Monday and then it's supposed to get really cold. So we don't know like if the roads are going to be icy and if they're going to cancel school or whatever. But for right now, he is supposed to start on Tuesday. I already know I'm going to be a freaking emotional wreck the whole day. I'm probably just going to cry the whole day. Like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself. Like, I've literally had him here with me since for 10 months, almost 11 months. And like, I don't want him to leave me. I'm going to miss us just like lounging on the couch in our pajamas all day, or like playing and hearing him talking. Like, oh, I'm going to miss him so much. But I know that this is going to be good for him. And I know that it's going to be an adjustment. But once we get past like that adjustment period, I think he's going to be do really well in school. So anyways, y'all pray for me. Y'all pray that I'm doing all right, because I'm probably not. If you guys are watching, as y'all can see, I did straighten my hair. This is the first time that I've personally straightened my own hair probably since 2015. Like, it has been almost 10 years since I've straightened my own hair and honestly owned a straightener. Like, I threw out all of my hot tools and stuff whenever I was going natural, just because I didn't want to be tempted to use them, because I used to straighten my hair every single day. Like, it was bad, y'all. So when I decided to go natural, I was just like, I have to do away with all the heat. So I have not owned a straightener in almost 10 years. And the only reason I bought one was because I had a photo shoot whenever we did our what's it called? Our Thanksgiving, like fall family photos. I had my hair straightened then, and my hair was like just more frizzier than usual. And I realized I didn't have a straightener to fix it. So I had to go get one from Target, and I got one for like 20, maybe $30, and it did a really good job. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try and straighten my hair again, like one of these days. And I just decided over the weekend, like, this is just what I want to do. And so I did it, and it actually came out pretty good. So I'm proud of myself. What else has happened? We've had quite a few showings over the past 2 weeks for our house. So we actually have 2 showings today, the day that I'm filming this. And then last week we had like 3 showings. So we've been getting a lot of interest on the house. Every time people come and we get feedback, they say like they love the house. But the only thing is nobody is putting in an offer. It's like there's all these people coming to see, and they're like, oh, we love it, but then nobody is putting their money where their mouth is. So we're just patiently waiting for the right family to come along and buy our little house so that we can move into our new house. Which, also another update on that, the last time I told y'all about an update on our new house, I was telling y'all that we were still waiting on the bank to tell us how much the house was going to be, because they upped the price or whatever. So we are going to have to pay a little bit more than what we anticipated, just because whenever we did an appraisal on the house, we got a certain number. So they're going to honor the appraisal that we got. So We do have to spend a little bit more money, which means it's going to take more money out of the renovation budget. So we're not going to be able to do as much with the house at the beginning as we thought we were going to do, but it's fine. I told Justin that we can just take it slow and just take it project by project. Like, we don't need to just renovate the entire house before we move in, because really there's nothing wrong with the house. Like, the house is very much livable, but we were just being a little bit picky and wanted to, renovate the master, change the floor, change some of the kitchen things and stuff like that. So they're not like make or break reasons like why we don't want to move into the house. It's just like personal preference type of thing. So we will still get the house. I'm very excited. Hopefully we get an offer on the house soon, because us buying our new house is contingent upon us selling our current house, because we need the money from this house in order to get the new house. So hopefully we get an offer soon. Hopefully some of the people who come and see it today decide to put in an offer. But yeah, the market is so crazy right now, and I'm learning that buying a house is like a very complex process. And yeah, I know that there are a lot of you guys who might be interested in like the house buying process, or don't even really know like what that looks like or where to start. And I am going to do a podcast episode with my sister at some point this year, sometime in the first quarter or second quarter of the year. I will sit my sister down and we'll have a conversation about like what it takes to buy a house, being approved for a loan, your credit, all types of things. But I think that's all the little updates that I had for you guys. So let's just go ahead and get into today's episode. And as you guys can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about self-reflection, and not even so much talking about it as more so me actually doing it with y'all. So I have this game here, and it is from what is this brand? It's from the Skin Deep, and this game is called the and I don't really know why it's called that, but they have a bunch of different like editions, like a couple edition, a friend edition. This is the self edition, so these are questions that you get to ask yourself. So I thought that it would be fun to kind of do that with you guys. I've actually been wanting to do this on the podcast for a little while now, and Justin has been begging me to like play this game with myself, because he knows that I struggle sometimes with like figuring myself out, or even struggling with just like self-reflection sometimes. So he was like, you need to play this game and like ask yourself these questions. And I was like, okay. So what better way to do it than with my girls? So this will probably be more like a very transparent therapy session with y'all. So I have no idea what these questions are. I haven't even opened up this box, so I have no idea like how deep this is going to get. Hopefully I don't cry, because that would be a little embarrassing. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. And I feel like you guys know how much I talk about self-reflection. I've mentioned it so many times on the podcast about how you need to really reevaluate your life, yourself, be aware of yourself, your traits, your thoughts, your actions, why you do the things that you do. And the only way that you can truly get to those answers is if you ask yourself certain questions. And you don't have to have this game in order to self-reflect. You can find, questions on Google. You can ask yourself questions that you might want to know about yourself. It doesn't have to be like sitting down and playing a card game with yourself, but things like this just kind of make it a little bit easier, because sometimes you don't think of these types of questions to ask yourself to really like go deeper and truly self-reflect. So I'm very curious to see like what kind of questions these are going to be. But before we get into that, I just want to start by sharing a little bit of why self-reflection is important and can be beneficial to your life if you've never done any exercises like this before. So of course I have an article pulled up, and I'm just going to read a few things from here, and then we'll go ahead and dive into the Skin Deep game. So this says, research shows the habit of reflection can separate extraordinary professionals from mediocre ones. We would go as far as to argue that it's the foundation that all other soft skills grow from. The practice itself is all about learning, looking back on the day without bias or regret, to contemplate your behavior and its consequences. It requires sitting with yourself, taking an honest moment to think about what transpired, what worked, what didn't, what can be done, and what can't. Reflection requires courage. Ain't that the truth? It's thoughtful and deliberate. Being at the top of your game only comes when you extract from your past how to engage the future. To get its full benefits, you must make reflection a habit. It's not simple. Generic questions like, what am I grateful for today? What did I learn? What could I have done better? Are often too general to be helpful. So, what should you reflect upon? And then it kind of goes on to say, like, what their research says about what people should self reflect on. And they came up with three things, like three categories. And they are surprise, so things that surprised you during your week or during your day, frustration, what made you frustrated, what aggravated or annoyed you, and then failure, what's something that you failed at during this week, how did you feel, how did it make you react, things like that. And then it just kind of goes into detail about each certain one. I'll link the article that I'm reading from in the description of the podcast if you guys are interested in reading more about that. But basically, from me just reading that, I took a little bit away from it that one, self-reflection is a habit. It's not just something that you do here and there haphazardly whenever you get around to it. Like, no, this is something that if it's important to you, then you have to make it a habit in your day-to-day life in order for you to reap the full benefits of it. Another thing that stood out to me when reading this was that it said it requires sitting with yourself. And I know that a lot of people kind of struggle with this one. Some people don't like their own company. Some people don't like to sit in the quiet. Some people don't like to actually think about their trauma or think about things that frustrated them or aggravated them during the week, or like really want to dig deeper. You really have to work at this, and you have to get to a point where you are comfortable enough with yourself to really just sit and dive into the intricacies of why you are the way you are, why you do what you do, why you feel the way that you feel. And that can be a lot for some people. Some people don't like to really, be honest with themselves. They would much rather just forget about it, put a little band-aid over it, and just try and move on. But we all know that is not helpful or beneficial. And then the last little takeaway that I got from this article was that questions like, what am I grateful for today? What did I learn? What could I have done better? Are like very general questions. Like, they're not questions that are going to cause you to really think too deeply about yourself. So you really have to be intentional about the questions that you're asking yourself and why you're asking yourself these questions. Because if you truly want to get to the root of something in your life, like, you have to be specific, like intentionally specific. And if you're just asking yourself questions like, oh, what was my favorite part of the day? Then like, you're not really going to dig deep enough to truly figure out the root of whatever it is that you're trying to reflect about. So yeah, those are just some of the things that stood out to me. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time in this intro because I don't know how many cards I'm going to be pulling, but I really just wanted to kind of share like why self-reflection is important if it's something that you've never done before or never even heard of before. But it can definitely be very beneficial in your life. And hopefully by me playing this game and how honest and transparent I'm going to be with not just myself, but with you guys as well, then you will be able to kind of see like why it's so beneficial and why it's important, and hopefully will inspire you to do some self-reflection in your own life. So let's go ahead and open up this card game. I'm very nervous, but we're just going to do it. All right. First card I pulled, the question says, how does my fear serve me? I feel like this is a hard question. These are going to be so hard to answer. As far as how does my fear serve me, I feel like I'm scared of a lot of things, and not necessarily like bugs and things that fly. Like, yes, I'm scared of those, but I feel like my fears go a little bit deeper, as far as to like, I'm scared that I'm not doing the things that I should be doing, or I'm scared that none of my dreams are going to become reality, or I'm scared that I'll never accomplish the things that, I want to accomplish in this world. Like, those are my fears. And I think my fears serve me in a way that sometimes it's motivation, but sometimes it also holds me back, because if I'm scared to do something, then I will take like time. Like, I will try and convince myself like, no, I don't need to do this. Or I would try and procrastinate or just like push off the things that I want to do. But then also sometimes my fear can motivate me to actually go and do the thing that I'm so afraid of doing. Because what is that quote that goes, your greatest success is on the other side of fear? So whenever I get scared of something, or whenever I have an idea so big that it kind of like scares me or shocks me a little bit, I try and think of that quote and think like, what if this is my breakthrough moment? What if this is the moment that I am going to be successful? What if this is the thing that like takes off and my life changes dramatically? You know, so I really try and think of my greatest success is on the other side of fear quote very often whenever I'm afraid to do something. And even like with this passion project that me and my sister are doing, I am freaking terrified. Like, I don't know how people are going to respond to what we're doing. I don't know if people are going to invest in what we're doing. I don't know how it's all going to come to the end product, but I just know that like I see the end and I see how beautiful it can be. I just have to figure out how to get there, and I have to get people to believe in the process with me. So that is the scary part, is like bringing other people on board to your ideas and like trying to make them see your vision. That's scary. But I also think that like in a way that my fear serves me, it is pushing me to kind of just like get through this moment so that I can make it to the other side of what I see my vision being. Because at the end of the day, like a lot of the things that I do and that I'm passionate about are not for me. Like they are for you guys, they are for my listeners, they are for a community of women. And I really just try and remember that like if I can just help one person, if I can just get one person to think differently about themselves, to want to be more like themselves, then I've done my job. So I always try and think of that at the end of it too. So I guess a way my fear serves me, did I answer the question? It motivates me, but sometimes it can also hinder me from doing the things that I want to do. And it really just depends on what the thing is. Like, what am I super passionate about it to where it is going to motivate me? Or am I just like having imposter syndrome to where I feel like I can't do this, like I'm not qualified, you know? So I hope I answered that question. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. What am I jealous of? Or, okay, wait. What am I jealous or envious of? And how is that affecting my decision right now? Okay. All right. The thing that I'm jealous or envious of right now is other people rising to success faster than me. And I really want to get specific here and say like on social media, because I've been doing social media for a long time, you guys, like a long time, since before being an influencer was even a thing. I was in high school making YouTube videos. Like I've been doing this for such a long time, and I've been so passionate about this for such a long time. And it's very hard to see people who have just started doing this rise faster and do bigger things and have more followers and have bigger brand deals than myself, because I feel like I've put in so much work and I've been just trying so hard. And yes, I have things to show for it, but it's not to the caliber that I was expecting or that I thought I would be at. You know, like I thought that I would be transcended by now and have no worries in the world, but like that's not my story and that's not my reality. So I'm jealous of people who are able to just have it done more quickly. And even like as far as podcasting, like people who have a solidified audience and then they out of the blue decide I'm going to start a podcast, and then somehow it's in the top 10 of Spotify podcasts. And like I've been doing my podcast for almost 4 years now, and I'm like I've never had any traction or any, you know, anything like that happen for me. So that does make me jealous when I see other people who just out of the blue decide to do things and it just happens for them. And then for me, like I still feel like I'm in the trenches grinding it out, trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the second part of the question is, how is that affecting my decision right now? I think for me, it just kind of discourages me, because even though in my mind I know that there is room for everyone in this field, sometimes it just discourages me, because it's like, well, why would people want to work with me when they can work with them? Or why would anybody, you know, care about the things that I'm doing when these other people are doing the same things? And it's like I know in my mind that I am unique and I am special and I can only be like myself. But sometimes I can't help but think like, oh, I need to try editing like her. I need to try doing this kind of content because it's working for them. And it's like, no, I just need to stay in my own lane and do my thing, and the people who love what I do and who are interested in what I do are going to follow me and be a part of my journey. And that's what it has been so far. Like, I feel like I have such a close knit family on social media, and like, you guys are there for me, you guys root for me, you guys care about my success. And like, even though we're a small but mighty family, like, I love each and every one of you guys so much. Like, I just want you guys to know that I see every DM, I see every comment, I see every review. Like, I see it, and I appreciate you guys so much. And so I know that I have an audience out there who loves me and I love them, and like, they're riding with me. But at the end of the day, it's like, sometimes I catch myself thinking about, oh my gosh, I need more followers, or I need more brand deals, or I need more this and that in order to be successful. So for me, it's just been a long journey of trying not to have, one, imposter syndrome, but then two, look at what everybody else is doing and try and be like them, because I need to only be like myself. And like, jealousy is not going to get me anywhere. You know, I can't be jealous of somebody else's story and journey. I don't know what they've been through. Shucks, I don't know how long, they've been doing this as well. So I feel like everybody's time is going to come, and when it's my time to really shine and take off, then it will happen. But I really need to stop being so jealous and envious of what other people have, and really just start to be grateful for the things that I do have, the brand deals that I have gotten, because there's somebody out there who's probably jealous of me and where I'm at. So it's like, even though I want so much more for myself, I have to realize how much I do actually have and how much I have accomplished. And that is something to be proud of. So yeah, I think for me, in order to get out of this, I just need to create for myself and do the things that I know that I'm good at, and stop worrying so much about the numbers and about the money, and really just continue to do it because I love it, because that is why I started to do this, and that is why I continue to do this. And yeah, I think I answered that. What am I angry about? Oh my God, these questions, bro. Okay, I'm gonna cry. Why is this happening? Okay. I don't even know why I'm crying. Okay. What am I angry about? First, I think I need to start with who I'm angry with. And that is myself. And I'm angry at myself because in some ways I feel like I just let myself down in a bunch of different areas of my life. Starting with where I am now, I'm angry about the fact that I've kind of not let myself go, but like let go of my discipline, which you guys know is a big thing for me in the new year, is to get my discipline back. And not even just my discipline back in working out and my routine or whatever, but my discipline back in just showing up for myself. As much as I didn't want having a baby to take over my identity and to be like a hindrance in my life, I feel like in a way it has been. And I've kind of used it as an excuse to not do the things that I want to do, as far as like even just like creating or going on a walk or making my space clean. I feel like I put a lot of things off most times because I blame it on like, oh, I have to watch Ace, or oh, like Ace is here, I can't do anything, like, or even just like, I'm so tired from watching Ace, like I deserve a break. And those are all true things, but also at the same time, I'm angry at myself for letting it go on for so long. Like at the beginning, yeah, it was an adjustment, and like being a mom and having to pump and doing all these things. Like, I say give myself the first like 5 to 6 months to like adjust, but I feel like it just kept going on and on and on and on. And now I'm at a place in my life where I've looked up and so much time has gone by, and I'm really trying to think, like, what did I do with my time? Like, how am I still here? How is my mental still here? How are my finances still here? How am like, and there's so many different areas in my life where I'm just like, what did I do? How did I get here? Like, what is happening? So I feel like I'm just angry at myself for not stopping the bleeding early, Because to be honest, I was aware of it. Like I was very aware that like the scale is going up. I was very aware that like, oh, I'm not making as much content as I said that I was going to. I was very aware that my mental is not as good as I thought that it was going to be. And like even though I was aware of it, I didn't do anything about it. And so now all of this time has passed, like 6 additional months almost, and I'm still in that same space of I don't even know what to describe it as, like yearning and desire for more, but yet I'm not giving myself the opportunity to do more or to be more. But then also to go a little bit deeper into the situation, I am mad at myself for even getting myself in this situation because even though I like to think that I've forgiven myself for becoming pregnant, honestly, like let's just call it how it is. Like even though I'd like to think that I've forgiven myself for that, I don't think I really have. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Justin, and Justin is amazing. I am so happy that he is my boyfriend. I'm so happy he is the father of my child. But also at the same time, I knew what the consequences could be, you know, when we did what we did. And even though, like, at that time in my life, it was honestly like a battle with like trying to decide, like, is this something that I want to do? Is this something that I don't want to do? Um, because I had been abstinent for a long time up until then. And so for me to make that decision, it was just kind of like, I know what I could be getting myself into. And yeah, I did it anyway. So I feel like I'm angry at myself for not being disciplined in that way, like not being disciplined in my abstinence, because then maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. Maybe I would be in a completely different situation. Like I don't know. Um but I always struggle with like the what ifs of life. Like what if I didn't get pregnant? What if, you know, all these things didn't happen? Like where would I be? And I have to stop doing that to myself because those scenarios are not real. Like this is my real life that I'm living in right now. So I can't think about the what ifs of that life because that's not real and it will never be real. And there's no point in thinking about that and reminiscing on the past and trying to think about what I would do differently because you don't get a redo. Like that's just the realities of life. You don't get a redo. So for me, those are things that I'm mad at myself about. And really, it's just stemming from an anger of being angry with myself and not truly forgiving myself, but almost just like, again, covering it with a band-aid and being like, oh, okay, you're good. Like, you made this decision. You can stick with it. You're good. Like, think about the future. But sometimes that's just like really hard, you know? Like, it's really hard to not reminisce on things that you could have done differently in your life. And like I said, I don't regret having AIDS. I don't regret being with Justin. I don't regret any of that. But if I'm just being truly honest with myself, like, yeah, those are things that I am mad about that I haven't really expressed outwardly before. So yeah, that is what I'm angry about. And we're going to move on. Okay, this is a good one. It says, if finances weren't an issue, what would I be doing differently? And quite honestly, I don't know if I would be doing anything differently. I feel like I would still be podcasting. Like I don't make money from my podcast at all. So that's not money's not an issue there for sure. I would still be creating content if I didn't get paid for it. I would still be pursuing my passion project with my sister if there wasn't any financial incentive for me. I feel like I would be doing everything that I'm doing now if money were not an issue. Like the things that I'm doing are things that I'm so passionate about and things that I care about so much. And even if I didn't get paid a cent for any of it, like I would still choose to do this. It's a creative outlet for me. It's a beautiful process to be able to create and to have people love what you create, you know? Like I don't think that I would be doing anything differently with my life if money were not an issue. Like I would still be doing just what I'm doing now because I truly love it that much. All right, this one says, what's the one change I could make today that would have the greatest impact on my future? And I feel like I've kind of talked about this. Like I feel like there's just a running thread in my life and kind of intertwined with like all of these different things that I'm doing. But I think the one thing that I could change today that would have the greatest impact on my future is to get rid of my imposter syndrome. Like, I feel like I have the worst imposter syndrome when it comes to me wanting to do things. Like, there are just some things that I feel like I'm not qualified for. I don't know why people would want that for me. And just having all these negative views about myself and my capabilities, because they don't measure up or add up to what I see other people do or doing. Like, for example, I think a few episodes ago, I told you guys about how my friends were pushing me to start like my own social media managing business, where I basically am a contractor for certain businesses and handle their social media and do, you know, creative concepts for them and all kinds of stuff, right? And I feel like, because I don't have a degree in marketing, because I've never worked at a social media marketing agency before, because I've never truly done any work like this outside of doing it for myself, that I'm not qualified. I don't know why people would want to hire me for that. Like, there are other people out there who are more qualified, who actually have a degree in marketing, who have been doing this for years. And I really just, for lack of better words, I kind of shit on myself a little bit and don't think that I'm as capable as everybody else might think that I am capable. So it's just really hard to get out of that mindset of like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to do this. There are other people out there who are better at this than me. And it's like, while that might be true, I also have gifts. And just because other people have the same gift as me or have been doing that for longer or have degrees in whatever doesn't take away from my natural ability to do so. But in my mind, it makes me less qualified and it makes me feel like I shouldn't be doing it, because who am I to say that I want to do this? So I think, yeah, that's the one thing that I think could ultimately change my life for the better, is if I just let go of my imposter syndrome and do the things that I want to do without being afraid to do them, without being intimidated of doing them, because it could very well be something that I find I'm good at, or something that I tap into that I didn't even think was possible. So if I could let go of my imposter syndrome, I think that I would be a very, very different person. But that is a lot easier said than done. And if you struggle with imposter syndrome, then you know like how difficult it can be to actually view yourself as worthy and valuable to someone or something. So anyways, I need to work on that. I need to get myself together. But yeah, that's one change that I think that I could make today that would make a big impact on my life. What's the rush? Is literally the next question. Goodbye. All right. If you've been a long time listener of the podcast, then I feel like you've heard me talk about a little bit how when I was younger, I would always rush to get to the next thing. Like when I was in middle school, I couldn't wait to get to high school. When I was in high school, I couldn't wait to get to college. When I was in college, I couldn't wait to graduate and live on my own. Like I was always looking for the next thing, rushing to the next thing. I even graduated college early so that I could be done with it. You know, like I was always rushing for something in my life. And why? Like, really, what is the rush? What am I rushing to? Because now that I'm here at this place that I'm at right now, I wish that I could go back to college. I wish that I could go back to middle school and high school. You know, like I wish that I could have those years over and tell myself to just really enjoy them and soak them in. But even now, today, I sometimes find myself rushing, like trying to get to these certain heights of my life. And then it's like, what's the point? You know, like when I get there, what am I going to do? So, what is the rush? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm so far behind in life that I need to like play catch up. I feel like I'm about to be 28 years old and I haven't accomplished half of the things that I said that I was going to accomplish. So that makes me feel like I need to rush and try and get things done by a certain age. Yeah, really just society is what's making me rush. Seeing everybody else's success on social media is what's making me rush. My own thoughts and ideas about where I should be and when I should be there are what's making me rush. And theoretically, I know and I understand that like there is beauty in the slowness, there is beauty in the process and in the journey, but sometimes you're just like, dang, I just want to get there. Like I just want to have millions of dollars in my bank account. I just want to have the perfect, most beautiful house. I just want to have the best job and the best car and the best family and the best life. Like those are all things that we rush to try and get to. And I mean, those are amazing things, like rightfully so. They are amazing things. But if I'm being completely honest about myself with like why I'm rushing and what is the rush, I feel like I'm trying to play catch up to other people in my life. You know, I see my sister and she was married and had kids and lived in 3 houses by the time she was 29 years old. And so it's just like there are some things that I compare my life to and I shouldn't, but because I do, I feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get there because my sister got there by this age and my friend got there by this age and like I'm still way back here. So yeah, that is what is the rush for me, is like I'm comparing myself and my life to other people, and even just my own internal biases of like when I should be doing something, is really what's making me rush. And that's not good. That's not healthy. Those are not reasons to accomplish anything in life. And like, I know that and I'm aware of that. But also at the same time, sometimes you can't help but think that way. So yeah, that's what the rush is for me. I need to not do that. What is the one lesson or value that I want to pass to my grandchildren? I feel like this is pretty easy. It's also a quote on our website if you guys have never seen the website, but the quote is, don't trade your authenticity for approval. And I'm pretty sure I did a whole podcast episode on this concept. But I feel like for most of my life, especially like my early teenage years, early 20s, I was really so focused on getting the approval of other people, so much so to the fact that I would alter myself in order to get their approval. Whether that would be I would alter my personality, alter the way that I talked, alter my hair, alter the way that I dress, you know, like I would change things about myself in order to try and fit in with the majority so that I didn't stick out. And I realized that like that was not healthy, that I was, you know, not truly being myself. And for what? To get the approval of these other people who probably really don't even care. So for me, something that I would want to pass to my grandchildren is to just let them know that they can be authentically themselves no matter who they're around. They don't have to be afraid of what other people might think, how other people might portray them. Like the only thing that matters is how you view yourself, and you should be proud of who you are, and you should be proud to show your authentic self to people, and the people who love you and care about you are going to embrace you with open arms, and the people who don't, you don't need them in your life anyway. So that for me, like it has just been one of the biggest life lessons that I have learned, is to just not trade your authenticity for the approval of other people, because honestly there is truly no point. Like at the end of your life, you want people to know you for who you are and for the things that you were passionate about, not because you were trying to be something that you weren't and nobody knew the real you. How does my body feel right now? What is it telling me? This is so fitting. Okay. All right. How does my body feel right now and what is it telling me? Right now, my body feels like a marshmallow. It's very fluffy. It's very soft and plush. But right now, my body just kind of feels like blah, honestly. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. I am living in a body that is very new to me, that I've had to make it a lot of adjustments to. And yeah, it's been a process, as you guys know. I've mentioned this several times on the podcast, how I'm struggling with my body. And if I'm going to be completely blunt and transparent and honest, I hate my body. And not in a way that I think I'm like disgusting or ugly or like gross, but more so in a way that I'm not comfortable and I'm not 100% confident like how I used to be. And I know that like I birthed a child, okay? I get it. I understand. But for someone who has literally been so physically fit, so active, such an athletic build my entire life. Looking at myself in the mirror becomes harder and harder every single day because sometimes I don't even recognize myself. I'm like, who is this woman? How did I get here? What did I do? And the second part of this question, what is it telling me? It's telling me that I need to be patient with myself. I have to understand that yes, I did grow a human. Yes, I did deliver a child. Yes, my organs are still going back to their regular places and things like that. But my body is telling me that like I need to be patient with myself, but also that I need to praise my body for what it has done and what it is capable of doing. Being a woman is very powerful, and we go through so many different things in our lives that can cause our body to shift and change, some in good ways, like I got a little booty back there, and then some in bad ways, like my boobs are sagging and I got a little extra fluff on my tummy, all those types of things. But I really do think that I just need to be patient with myself and know that like my body's not going to change overnight. I can't just wake up one day and decide to go full throttle, heavy lifting, running a mile every single day. Like, I really just have to be gentle and patient with myself and be okay with starting over. Because, like I said, I've never been in this position before to where I've had to work to get to the physical body that I want. I feel like because I've always been so active, because I've always worked out, my body has just been. And now I have to really work um, and be disciplined about getting myself back to a place that I want to get to. And it's not even honestly about getting myself back to a place that I want to get to. It's more so just about overall feeling good about myself and about the work that I'm putting in. Because I feel like if I get so focused on, I need to look like my 23-year-old self, I need to look like I'm Miss USA ready, then like that's just too much pressure. It's just unnecessary, and it's not healthy, and it's not good, and it's not going to put me in a positive headspace that I need to be in order to make the changes that I need to make. So even though my body right now feels like a marshmallow, it feels fluffy, it feels like, plush, I guess is a good word to say. It is telling me that I need to be patient and I need to just take it one day at a time. And I don't need to be so focused on the scale and on, the six pack and like all of these things that I used to be so obsessive about, I guess is the best word. I have to understand and remind myself that I am not the same person that I once was. My body is not that it's not capable of doing those same things, but it doesn't need to do those same things anymore. Like, I'm not training for volleyball. I'm not competing for a national pageant. I'm just Mariah. I just need to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be happy with what I see. And I think the only way that I can do that is if I just get back into working out and like start over and just make myself um feel better about myself, because nothing changes if nothing changes. I can't continue to sit on the couch and watch TV instead of going to do a quick 30-minute workout and think that things are going to change, because they're not. So this is actually like perfect timing, because today actually I'm starting a begin again challenge. I don't know if you guys know who Whitney Simmons is, but she has a training app called the Alive app, and it's basically like a personal trainer in the app, and they also do like mental health check-ins and mindfulness and stuff like that. But yeah, it's actually the begin again challenge, and it's a 30-day challenge. I'm starting that today when you guys are listening to this. It's an at-home program. They have an at-home and a gym program, but I'm doing the at-home one. And I'm just gonna work out for 30 days and just like see how I feel and watch myself change. And hopefully it will ignite that motivation within me again to like be consistent and be serious about wanting to better myself physically. So yeah, I feel like I answered that question very long-winded, but you guys get the gist. All right, this is going to be the last question I answer. One, because I've been talking for forever, and then two, my camera is also about to die. So the last question is, what is the lesson life is teaching me at this point in time? I feel like life is teaching me to let go. And I know that that's kind of general and vague, but I feel like It's teaching me to let go in a lot of different areas of my life. It's teaching me to let go of my plans that I had for myself. It's teaching me to let go of how I thought things should be. It's teaching me to let go of negative views of myself. I feel like it is just very all encompassing, teaching me how to let go and be okay with letting go. I used to be very obsessive over my accomplishments and what was next and how I was going to get there and what I was going to do and what life was going to look like and who was going to be there and what, like all of these things. And like I had all of these ideas in my head about where I would be by the time I was 28 years old. And the more that I think about it, the more that like, even though it doesn't look like how I thought it was going to look, I do have a lot of the things that I said that I wanted by the time that I was this age. It's just wrapped up in a different package and it looks a completely different way. And I feel like life is just teaching me that, yes, I will give you the desires of your heart. Like God is teaching me that. I guess that's a better way to say it. God is teaching me, yes, I will give you the desires of your heart, but it might not always look like in the way that you wanted it. It might come presented in a different way. It might be at a later time in your life, but as long as you put in the work and you're disciplined and you're motivated and you continue to lean on me, which is God, I will give you everything that you've ever asked for. And I feel like the more that I look over my life and the more that I reflect over where I've been versus where I am now, like I have so many of the things that I wished and I prayed for and I desired. And even though, yeah, I might be a little bit angry about the way that it looks, even though it might not be in the perfect way that I thought that it was going to be, I still have those things and I'm still grateful for them. So I need to let go of like the way that I thought things were going to be and the way that I thought things were going to go and really embrace the uncertainties of life and learn how to view it as something that is beautiful instead of not what I wanted. Does that make sense? Life has a very funny way of giving us the things that we need versus the things that we want. And I think until you find an appreciation for that, you'll never fully be happy with where you are in life right now. And I feel like life is just teaching me, like, be happy with where you are. Stop rushing. Stop trying to reach these certain levels of your life. Stop trying to live outside of the present moment, but really just be here and enjoy where you're at in life because you asked for this, you wanted this. And even though it's not what you thought it was going to look like, it's still here. So instead of trying to push towards that next thing and reach that next level, be happy with where you are. Be appreciative of where you are, because there are some people who look at your life and want what you have and crave what you have, and you're sitting here worried about the next thing, So yeah, I just feel like life is teaching me to let go, to be present, to be appreciative of what I have, and to be happy with my life and stop worrying about what I don't have and what I do want and what I want to achieve. Like, I just need to be here and appreciative and let go of these ideas that told me that my life was going to be a certain way by a certain time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can just enjoy this moment and like be happy with where I am, and like that's okay. So yeah, that was a lot, y'all. That was deep. We did get deep. Maybe I'll do this again one day. Maybe I won't. I don't know. There's so many cards left in here, y'all. Like literally so many. But thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble, have a therapy session with you guys, basically. I only cried once, maybe a little bit twice, but we made it through the game. I hope that this has inspired you to kind of reflect on your own life, ask yourself some deeper questions, really be honest and transparent with yourself. Like I said, you don't have to share your thoughts with the world like me, but just do it for yourself, and really get to the core of why you are the way you are, why you do the things you do. And yeah, I'm going to go now. My camera is literally on 6%, but I hope that you guys have a great Monday, a great week, and I will talk to you in my next episode. Bye.